Engine. Hey, give us a second. We've got the. Good evening, cross-country fans. You are looking live at the starting line for the 11th running of the Lois Davis Invitational Women's 5K on the beautiful campus of Southern Arkansas University. Very favorable conditions here this afternoon in Magnolia. About 81 degrees, a light breeze, and we've got 8 women's collegiate teams lined up at the starting line. We're just about a couple of minutes away from head coach Tim Service of the Murrider cross-country program firing off the starting gun. And once he does, they will be underway. Again, the 11th running of this event. Second time they've run it this year. It was previously ran in January, and many that experienced it in January can say the conditions are a lot better. And there's the gun, and they are off. 8 teams, 5 from the state of Arkansas. Obviously the host, Southern Arkansas University. Hendrix, University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, UA Rich Mountain, Arkansas Monticello also in attendance. And as well as Jackson State out of Mississippi, and then in Texas, Jacksonville College and Wiley College. And they're heading down toward that first stretch. They'll loop around the alumni building here on the campus of SAU, come back around, and then behind the Dr. Margaret Downey softball complex, make a couple of loops here on the intramural field, and then we'll be back here with this angle as they hit the finish line here shortly. Here with head women's cross country coach Tim Service. And coach, you're 2 meets into the season, but you have a big opportunity here coming up Friday evening as you get to host the Lois Davis Invitational for the 11th time. Talk a little bit about the excitement that goes into being able to have your student athletes compete on their home course.
Well, it's real exciting. A lot of programs, they don't have a home course, and so just having the opportunity to host on campus is a big deal, and giving the seniors the opportunity to run a final time at home is really big to us. We really enjoy doing that. They enjoy running at home. We don't have to travel, and that's kind of nice. A little more time to rest and homework. But yeah, they enjoy it, and I think it's really important for the seniors to, have that opportunity to run one last time at home, and it's great for the other students, to run at home as well. Just being that they get to run in front of their friends and their family, and people get to see them run. So like I was saying, just not a lot of programs have a home course, and being that we do, it's something very special to our kids.
And Coach, the women's 5K begins at 5:30. The men's 8K will take place at 6 o'clock. Through the first 3 meets of the season, you guys have been running in the evening and even at night with the season opener in Memphis. Talk a little bit about the process of going from night starts or evening starts to then having to turn around and run in the races that begin in the early morning. What's the preparation like, and how do you approach your student athletes as far as from training?
Well, we do multiple two-a-days, double practices, one in the morning, one in the evening, throughout the season, so their bodies are prepared for whichever race we decide to go to. But as we get closer to the end of the season, we are doing morning meets just to prepare them for the conference meet, which takes place in the morning. The majority of our practices will actually, although we do many doubles, but the majority of the practices are in the mornings. And that kind of will get the student's body ready and their mind ready and prepared for when they have to compete. So they've been getting up at 6 a.m. every morning, almost every morning. We give them a day off each week, and so they're used to running then. Times typically be faster in the morning because it's cooler, and in southern Arkansas in the evening it's sometimes difficult to run just because of the humidity and how hot it can be, and so it's a lot more desirable to be running in the morning too. So definitely as we get towards the end of the season, when we go to Mississippi College on October the 9th, that will be a morning race, and that'll be our first one. But we expect to see a lot of PRs then, just because it will be cooler because of the time of the year, but also because it is going to be early in the morning. And then when we get to conference, they should be prepared just with all the preparation practices and everything that we have been doing during the season.
Coach, through 2 meets, you've been led by true freshman Logan Warren, and also in this previous meet at the Steve Guyman Invitational, hosted by Harding and Searcy. We saw 2 veteran runners in Dakota Cassidy and Bronwyn Buchanan set personal best times. Talk a little bit about their efforts, and then also just some other student athletes on your women's team that have really done a good job so far this season.
Well, Dakota and Bronwyn have come a long way since joining the program. They both had very productive summer training before they got here, and so they came in pretty good shape. And so we have been seeing them improve over a period of time, little by little. So that has been really good. Logan Warren, new to our program, and she's a standout athlete. She's been doing great, and I have been seeing a lot of improvement from her in practice. But I've seen a lot of improvement from many of the athletes. I think the humidity has kind of held them back. So as we progress and move forward, I think that you'll see a lot of familiar faces like Carly Hale doing really well, and Alyssa Dong and Alyssa Solis, and of course I know that Bronwyn and Dakota Cassidy are going to help lead the team, and so we're going to see a lot of progression. Cecilia Quesada, she's gonna do great. She's been practicing great. A lot of progression out of our upperclassmen, and then our new athletes. I think they're going to progress as they get their feet wet within the collegiate competition.
And Coach, like we said, we got the Lois Davis Invitational. It's always special to be able to run in your home meet. You've got one more tune-up meet at Mississippi College before you take on the Great American Conference field at the championships in several weeks from now. How do you see the remainder of the season playing out for your women?
They're going to progress a lot. They're going to get better, and I think that we're going to come together better, and you're going to see more of the ladies running up there with Logan. So I think we're going to see a very, very strong, very good team, and probably one of the more competitive teams that I've ever coached.
Coach, best of luck Friday night, and best of luck through the remainder of the season.
Okay, well, thank you.
First finisher here in the women's 5K, the Lois Davis Invitational, a representative from Jackson State, and she is well out in front of the second fastest runner, and she's going to take it easily. We will get you names and official times here shortly. The next finisher will be Southern Arkansas, Catherine Benavides. And in fact, the Mule Riders are going to stack several finishers back to back to back. In fact, right now we're seeing Catherine in the 159 bib. She's going to close in under about 19:32. That's a great time. Logan Warren, she's led the Mule Rider women in the first two meets of the season. She's going to log a third place finish. Dakota Cassidy right behind her, just a couple of seconds back. Some teammates cheering her on. You got to love that. And in fourth place here, I believe that's going to be Carly Hale. So the senior, her final run here at the Lois Davis Invitational. She's going to finish strong. She'll log a time just over 20 minutes. And the big news yesterday, Carly, one of the 30 honorees in 2021 NCAA Woman of the Year, and she's going to finish in under 20:20. And now the first finisher after that pack of Mule Riders, representative from UAPB, bib 100, will be the fifth place finisher. And here comes Bronwyn Buchanan. She was at about the 1.5 mile mark. She was about 9th. She's going to finish in 7th place. That's a big finish for Bronwyn. And again, more Mule Riders. Okay, I'm probably just going to let it be natural. Could you hear what I'm Come on, Madison! Come on, Victoria! Good job, Victoria. Finish it, Victoria. Finish it, Victoria. Good job, Victoria. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got in your way. I'm so sorry. You should.
No, you're talking about audio. You're talking about audio's off? Well, what did you just say?
I don't see anybody else, Brian.
And Coach, when you look at each of these meets, obviously the level of competition is different in each one. Obviously, you started out the season at the Memphis Twilight, where there was several Division I teams present and a lot of top Division IIs. There will be some meets where there may be some junior colleges or some maybe Division III or other level type schools. When it comes to how you approach it with your teams, does the level of competition necessarily affect the planning and affect the preparation, or is it, hey, we're running against the course, we're running against your personal best time? What's the approach there?
Well, the level of competition does, if you really need to know your competition when going into the race. For instance, if you're against a lot of fast competition, like we had Mississippi State, Ole Miss, some well-known schools at the Memphis Twilight. When you're up against that competition, you know that they're going to come out fast. And when you have a big group and they go out fast, you need to know where you should be in placement, getting out of the race. Because as you've seen, like with, I know we've all seen marathons on television or big races on television, and you see a big pack. Well, you want to make sure that you're in the right spot in the pack. So if you have a big race like the Memphis Twilight and you have fast teams, you want to make sure that you get in the right spot in the pack. Otherwise, if you get behind a bunch of runners who might be running a slower pace than you, you're going to be running much slower. If you get trapped in a bunch of runners that are running much faster pace than you need to be running, then you might end up running a little bit faster at a time when you don't want to, and then could gas yourself out. So there is some strategy that goes into it, but typically we like to change it up. Sometimes compete against those teams at our level, and that way it's good and easier to see how we improve. But other times it's good to get fast competition out there, because when there's fast teams, everybody tends to run faster if they run appropriately. And with good competition builds good competitors. And so I like to take them into several different environments. Sometimes more of a low-key environment, but sometimes they need to be at the big meet to get that experience too.
The women's 5K race at the 11th running of the Lois Davis Invitational is in the books. You can get those live results at www.murriderathletics.com, also at mcdonaldtiming.com. Jackson State had the individual title winner. I know Southern Arkansas definitely found their way. And of course, you can see them on the screen here, the results. Southern Arkansas definitely filled up the top 10, so it's good to see them in their home meet, putting together a nice product. And the men, we're about 30 seconds from the start of the men's 8K. Going to be a pretty competitive event. UA Rich Mountain, Wiley College, Hendricks, Southern Arkansas, Arkansas Monticello, and I believe Arkansas Pine Bluff, all at the starting line. Coach Service with the firing gun and misfire on the pistol. He's going to get them ready. And no misfire that time, and they are off. The 11th 8K running here at the Lois Davis Invitational, and I would expect these gentlemen to stay packed up for quite some time as they make their way down the opening chute. Rob Krause has led Southern Arkansas the first 2 meets of the season. In fact, his last time out at the Steve Gavin Invitational, he hit a 4-mile personal best. Obviously, this is an 8K, the first 8K that the men will run this season, and you'll be able to catch up with them as they hit the back straight toward the Alumni Center. And we're nearing the quarter-mile marker of this first lap. Arkansas Monticello in the lead. So Arkansas's Rob Crouch right behind him. In fact, 2 more mule riders in there as well. UAPB, Hendricks, UAPB there closer. Right now, I'd say it's probably between Southern Arkansas and UAPB here in the early going. Guerrero, a couple more mule riders. Hector Hernandez. Southern Arkansas filling it up nicely here, probably in the top 25. And still relatively packed up. Here as they get ready to hit the 1 mile mark. Good job, boys. So a nice little crowd on hand here for the 11th running the Lois Davis Invitational. 2 miles in, and Rob Krause is starting to distance himself from the pack. The next closest is going to be a teammate, and then looking for some more mule riders here. Arkansas putting on a pretty good performance. Like I said, Rob Krause, he's led Southern Arkansas the first 2 meets of the season. He's well out in front here. Of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Hendricks College runners. Here comes another group of mule riders. Group of 3. So UAPB so far with 2 in the top 5. Southern Arkansas looking to put 5 in the top 10 here in the early going. Again, a good crowd on hand. A lot of teammates on the track and field team out here cheering their friends and teammates on. And again, still in the middle of the pack, still bunched up pretty good. That could really go. It could really be where some of the finishes are decided. So Arkansas with a big bunch coming around the corner here. Hendricks with a couple of runners. UA Rich Mountain, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Here comes a bunch of mule riders. Here with men's head cross country coach Tim Service. And coach, you're 2 meets into the season, but you have a big opportunity here coming up Friday evening as you get to host the Lois Davis Invitational for the 11th time. Talk a little bit about the excitement that goes into being able to have your student athletes compete on their home course.
Well, it's real exciting. A lot of programs, they don't have a home course, and so just having the opportunity to host on campus is a big deal, and giving the seniors the opportunity to run a final time at home is really big to us. We really enjoy doing that. They enjoy running at home. We don't have to travel, and that's kind of nice. A little more time to rest and homework. But yeah, they enjoy it, and I think it's really important for the seniors to, have that opportunity to run one last time at home, and it's great for the other students, to run at home as well. Just being that they get to run in front of their friends and their family, and people get to see them run. So like I was saying, just not a lot of programs have a home course, and being that we do, it's something very special to our kids.
And coach, the women's 5K begins at 5:30. The men's 8K will take place at 6 o'clock. Through the first 3 meets of the season, you guys have been running in the evening, and even at night with the season opener in Memphis. Talk a little bit about the process of going from night starts or evening starts to then having to turn around and run in the races that begin in the early morning. What's the preparation like, and how do you approach your student athletes as far as from training?
Well, we do multiple two-a-days, double practices, one in the morning, one in the evening, throughout the season, so their bodies are prepared for whichever race we decide to go to. But as we get closer to the end of the season, we are doing morning meets just to prepare them for the conference meet, which takes place in the morning. The majority of our practices will actually, although we do many doubles, but the majority of the practices are in the mornings. and that kind of will get the student's body ready and their mind ready and prepared for when they have to compete. So they've been getting up at 6 a.m. every morning, almost every morning. We give them a day off each week, and so they're used to running then. Times typically be faster in the morning because it's cooler, and in southern Arkansas in the evening it's sometimes difficult to run just because of the humidity and how hot it can be, and so it's a lot more desirable to be running in the morning too. So definitely as we get towards the end of the season, when we go to Mississippi College on October the 9th, that will be a morning race, and that'll be our first one. But we expect to see a lot of PRs then, just because it will be cooler because of the time of the year, but also because it is going to be early in the morning. And then when we get to conference, they should be prepared, just with all the preparation practices and everything that we have been doing during the season.
And Coach, entering the third meet of the season, the first two times you've hit the course, you've been led by Rob Krause, all GAC honoree. In the spring during the 3-meet season you had there, really impressive effort by Rob. Talk a little bit about his performances, what you've seen from him so far this season, and also some other guys that you've been impressed with in the early going.
Well, yeah, Rob has improved a lot. Over the 4 years he's been here, he's improved a lot. And just this season, our first meet, he ran just over 21 minutes for the 4 mile, and then he improved by 16 seconds this last race. And it was a significant improvement considering the course wasn't as flat. There was rolling hills over to Steve Godman in Searcy, Arkansas, and Rob managed to knock off 16 seconds in 2 weeks. So he is continuously improving, bettering himself, and being that he's an all-conference guy and he's hasn't hit his ceiling yet, we have a lot of hope for him. Carlos Armendariz, he's another returner of ours. He's a junior, and as you've seen, he has been second on the team 2 races in a row. And I think Carlos has been doing a tremendous job. He's been working really hard, had a great summer training, came in fit, and looking good. And so with those guys leading our team right now, I feel very comfortable. We also had a very deep recruiting class. And so as the freshmen progress and as they become stronger and more familiar with the 4 and 5 mile, and sometimes in a region they'll run a 10K, which is 6.2 miles. As they get used to those longer distances from high school they're running a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. So as they get used to the longer distances, you'll see a lot of improvement out of them. And being that we have a very young men's team, we're going to see a lot of improvement over time. And so the question is really, how quick are they going to improve? How much are they going to improve between each race? It's hard to tell because we never had them in our program, and that's the exciting thing about having a young team, the exciting thing about having a young program. But also with the leadership of Carlos and Rob, I think they can bring those guys up to their level eventually.
And Coach, looking forward into the rest of the season, you've got one more, I guess you could call it a tune-up meet, so to speak, before you get to the one that you circle on the calendar every year, the Great American Conference Championships. What is your outlook for your men's team as you move toward the rest of the season?
Well, I always have an optimistic, positive outlook. I believe in these athletes. They've worked harder than probably any team I've ever had, and so I really believe that they will improve and they will do better. But there's a lot of unknown because a lot of them are new to this, and most of our runners have not been in a 5 mile yet, which an 8K, which is almost 5 miles. Well, that's what we will be running at conference. This Lois Davis Invitational will be their first 5 mile race. We started out with some 4 milers due to the heat, and also just get them used to running a little bit longer than the 5K, which they run at the high school level. But now we're gonna bump them up to the 5 mile. Well, an 8K isn't quite a 5 mile, but it's close enough. It's 4.96. So it's just about a 5 mile race. But anyway, so this will be their first time doing that, and so they'll get this experience. We'll work. I'll look back at it after the race. We'll work on things that we need to. Then we'll get ready for Mississippi College on October the 9th. And so they'll have a little bit more experience and have that first 5 mile run under their belt.
Coach, looking forward to seeing you run tonight at the Lois Davis, and certainly keeping up with you as the season progresses.
Oh, thanks.
Stay! Come on, you got it! Come on, Miguel! Let's go. Come on, you're almost there. Go finish, buddy.
10 awards. Okay. If you were in the top 10, please make your way on up. Top 10. Anybody in the top 10, please make their way on up.
In 10th place, we have Sarah from Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Sarah from Arkansas, Pine Bluff. In 9th place, we have Haley from University of Arkansas, Rich Mountain. In 8th place, we have Eliza McLaughlin from Southern Arkansas University. In Southern place, we have Bronwyn Susan from Southern Arkansas University. In 6th place, we have Sadie from Arkansas Pine Bluff. In 5th place, we have Curly Hale from Southern Arkansas University. In 4th place, we have Dakota Cassidy from Southern Arkansas University. In 3rd place, we have Logan Warren from Southern Arkansas University. In 2nd place, we have Catherine from Southern Arkansas University. And in the 1st place, our overall winner, Mercy from Jackson State. And the overall team winner for women with Southern Arkansas University was 21 points.
This one doesn't have the place.
Yes, we know. We unlocked. We did all of that.
Hey, I got it though. I'll take care of
No,
it.
it's fine. We did all of them. There's a couple blank ones, but there was no one.
So they didn't screw up. That's why I do blank. That's happening for us.
Can the women's team of Southern Arkansas University please make your way to the stage to get a photo?
Let's go, SAU! SAU collected that dub!
All right, I'm by Jacob.
Three, two, one. Good job, y'all. Good job.
I said to the fair. To the fair. Go celebrate with a funnel cake. What now? Get in front. You want me to get in front? Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in to this coverage of the 11th running of the Lois Davis Invitational. Southern Arkansas takes both team titles. Again, favorable conditions are really just a great night for a cross-country meet. Again, we thank you for tuning in. The Mule Riders are back in action on October 9th at the Watson Invitational. That'll be hosted by Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi. And until next time, this is Jacob Humphrey. Again, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.